stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody.
Morning. All right. I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the April 27th, 2023 and the May 11th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
All right.
Internal Services, good morning.
Good
Miss
morning.
Shannon.
Good morning. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
What's
All right.
good?
I just have project update. I don't have
Okay.
any resolutions. Can you believe it?
No,
What?
I cannot.
It was
That's
really
the
weird.
first
I was
time in
like,
2.5
we should
years I've
check
heard that.
again. I know. Dream.
And it was Mike's turn to read today.
No, I read yesterday, or last week.
Yesterday preparation reading is.
Yes.
That's preparation.
I got a whole basket of that.
I know, right? Me
Keep
too.
adding to them, so I will refer back.
Okay, so the admin building and update, the entrance. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. You know, for our area that you come into our area, it looks so good.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
saw
it
It
does.
looks so much nice. This doesn't stand out, but it just blends really well. So that's done. So this is something new. The Keltron system is based. It's housed at the sheriff's department, so that when
What is a Keltron system?
yeah, I'll tell you.
Alarm.
Okay.
So that when a panic alarm goes off, a fire alarm goes off, or anything goes off at any of the buildings that I've listed on
Mhm.
here, it goes right to dispatch.
Okay.
Well, it's coming to end of life. It's from 1998. So it's time to upgrade it because you can't, it's either upgrade or it'll die.
Mhm.
So I talked to Jay, I put on here that I will need to talk to JDC, but I actually talked to him this morning. And what we have to do is for each building, we have to map out the wire system. So each building will have to be mapped out for, I mean, because you've got probably, don't quote me, but I think you've had 3 different securities in here that have done all of this, and they're all of the wires are just like spaghetti right at the moment. So they're gonna have to look at them all for each building. With that being said, JDC is willing to pay for their own mapping of their building, just to have, so that everybody has it, but then we own it, so then we will own the wiring, the plans for the wiring. So once that's done, once they map out the wiring, then they make all the connections to go to dispatch so that, so like for example, remember when on Christmas Eve when the pipe burst? That went right to the sheriff's dispatch who then called us out
Okay.
and the fire department, so.
Shouldn't the current alarm companies have the mapping system as to where they put their wires?
They gave us a quote for that because they did not have it.
They put it
It's
in
been
without
here
mapping
from-
where they put the wires?
They might have done it, but the gentleman that did do it a long time ago is no longer there.
Well, that's
And they have
awesome.
no records.
We've asked a couple times,
Yeah.
so. We're gonna actually try to go with a different company.
Okay.
That will give us all the rates, so. I just have to get all the quotes in place. That's why it says, is this a maintenance project expense? Because I have no idea how much this is gonna be, so. I'm having a feeling it's gonna be kind of spendy, so. Go to the 3rd page. Juvenile court, we have a contractor, North Star Contracting. They came in a little bit under the estimated architect's estimate. Additional expenses though, there'll still be for the furniture and the security equipment. But it should be within the amount that we
Terrific.
allotted. So
Good.
hopefully I don't ever have to come and say, can I have some more? And then the Kent Courthouse, the stairs are complete there, so I'll take that off. They turned out really nice.
Yeah, I
They
just
did a
saw them
good
last
job.
night again. They look
Yeah,
good.
and the prosecutor's office, this is new, the HVAC unit in the IT room went out. So we have to replace that.
Is that a portable unit?
It's
or-
like, yeah, it's just like a small unit, it's under $10,000, so.
Such a bargain.
I know, such a bargain, right? And that's all I have for my little project update.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Looks like most of the stuff's gonna be off by the end of the year here.
that's my hope.
Yeah.
I know. We're meeting today too with, to come up with our game plan with the contractor for the Ravenna Courthouse
Beautiful.
parking lot.
I can't wait.
I
I
know.
may go play in the sand.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Human Resources. Good morning.
How you guys doing?
This is the lawyer look. Kind of scares me.
Yeah.
All
Alright, nothing really new, just a few resignations, and we definitely found some candidates and hires for the canvasser for the dog warden, so very excited
that's
about that.
good.
Yes,
That's
we're really
good.
excited to have these individuals join the dog warden's office and help out.
Very good, thank you.
Alright. In accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and the board's resolution 21-0396, part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge and approve the county administrator's approval too. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Hope Bonos, the grant administrator for the Portage County, effective May 26, 2023.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
No.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Layla Robinson, eligibility specialist for public assistance, Portage County Jobs and Family Services, effective May 12, 2023.
Roll call.
Second.
Oop, roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the hire of Logan Jones, canvasser, Portage County Dog Warden. The tentative start date is Monday, May 30th, 2023. The Board of Commissioners agrees that this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing the required pre-employment screenings.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to hire Margaret Lewis, canvasser, Portage County Dog Warden. The tentative start date is Monday, May 22nd, 2023. The Board of Commissioners agrees that this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing the required pre-employment screenings.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the hire of Jessica Kraft, canvasser, Portage County Dog Warden. The tentative start date is Monday, May 22nd, 2023. The Board of Commissioners agree that this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing the required pre-employment screenings.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. Miss Grant Administrator. Morning, Hope.
Good morning.
Where are you going?
Back to Lorain County.
Lorraine County?
Mm-hmm.
Where, do you live out this way or that way?
So I live on the border of Norton and Doylestown,
Okay.
but I'll probably be moving to Wellington.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you. You're up. What do you got for us?
So I have a few resolutions on my agenda, and then I wanted to discuss a resolution that's not on there after. If
Okay.
that's okay.
You're up, Miss Sabrina.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to go over any of these. Did you have any comments on any of these?
No, unless you guys have any questions.
The grant, the first one for that's from the 1.8 grant.
So now
No.
1.6.
The second
No,
one
it's
is
The second one is,
for
What's
the new
this
hires.
one for?
So the first one is a grant that they've received in the past. So that's $1,279,723. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm reading
No,
the
I was
wrong
gonna
one.
say this is like when they do the
none for under 21.
Yeah.
They participate in that. It's a great program.
do like
Okay, yeah. The okay.
OVI.
I apologize. The first one is for reimbursing overtime costs for like high volume like holidays, things like that. Like if it's like 4th of July, they'll reimburse for
They
overtime.
put extra people out.
Yeah, sorry
Speed
about that.
traps, OVI checkpoints.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the electronic grant application to the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio Highway Safety Office for the Portage County Sheriff's Office entitled Impaired Driving Enforcement Program, Selective Traffic Enforcement Program 2024, Portage County Sheriff's Office 00084.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Okay, now the next one. Grant, or Hope, you want to give us some details on?
Okay, so that is the one for $1,279,723.52. It has no local match, and that will be for personnel costs for 8 new deputies and their salaries. So PERS, Medicare, and health insurance would be included.
Excellent.
And there's no match.
No much.
Okay, perfect. And how long do we have to keep them after? Does it have a provision
2 years.
So the life of the grant is 2 years, and there's nothing in the grant guidance saying that we're
After the
obligated
2 year,
to
we're
pay them.
obligated to retain them
No.
for some.
Right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the 2022 State of Ohio EMA American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, First Responder Wellness, Recruitment, Retention, and Resiliency Grant on behalf of the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, Hope, and this third one? I thought we already approved this before, so this is.
Yes, so this is the following fiscal year that they're applying for.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought we already approved. They go by a fiscal year
Yep,
versus a
versus
calendar
year.
year?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll authorize the application to the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Service 2023 Edward Byron Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG, solicitation on behalf of the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
All right, and then the next one, I'll make a motion to rescind resolution number 23-0315, authorizing the application to the U.S. DOJ, Office of Community Oriented Policing Service Grant Program on behalf of the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
Tony?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Hope.
Oh, wait.
Nope.
Uh-uh.
Got more?
Wait,
One more.
wait.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
So this was not on my agenda because I did not receive the information until yesterday. There's one. Okay, and I already gave one to Amy. So this is for another personnel grant. It's $75,806, and it has no local match requirement. And I was told that if they get this grant, it's similar to the JAG grants where if they keep applying, they should be able to continue with the grant. So it's my understanding that they're starting to form some type of team to follow up with people who have overdosed. So this person would be following up with whoever overdosed if it was a non-fatal overdose. And then they would be making sure that they're getting the appropriate treatment, they get information on it, and then it will also cover costs for brochures for them so they can have information on treatment facilities.
The Sheriff's Department's gonna follow up on overdoses?
And they're partnering with the health department and county coroner, county prosecutor. So the Portage County Sheriff's Office Drug and Violent Crime Unit has recently implemented an overdose response protocol and has formed a partnership with Town Hall and the other partners that I mentioned.
Okay.
So this is for the application, and I believe it's due on the 25th. So even though they said they just found out about it, they wanted to get it on as soon as they could and get approval from the board.
Okay. 25th of May?
Yes.
Man, that's my birthday. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
We're gonna take that day off,
In
right?
case y'all want to get
Take
me
that day
something,
off?
something little, you know.
Your name on
So-
that water tank.
So Hope, okay, so there's no match funds, right?
Correct.
And this is a new hire, or they're gonna use someone from within?
I believe it's a new hire.
Okay. And then are we required to retain this position after, you know how?
No.
Okay, all right.
And we can apply each year.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is a new program.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the application to the Ohio Attorney General's Office fiscal year 2024 Drug Abuse Response Team DART Grant Program on behalf of the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second?
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Good to see you, Hope.
Thank you, ma'am.
When's your last day?
The 26th.
26, so
Yes.
you're here for Mike's birthday?
She'll be here.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Well,
Hope.
wasn't
Thank
that nice?
Jackie, good morning.
Good morning.
She did that on purpose.
I know
So
she
could be
did, so
here.
she could be here.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, how are you?
Good.
Hi.
So I just have routine journal entries today and one resolution for Job and Family Services.
Okay. In accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county's administrator's approval to, I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the May 11th, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then and nows as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to process the May 11th budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 1414 Child Support Administration.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution? Okay.
we
No,
just did
did
that.
right.
Yeah, we got that.
So next we have
Adult probation.
We're 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
You want to go to miscellaneous?
He's not here? Is Hank coming in?
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Oh, is he here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if he's not, I will roll right in.
Turn his phone off.
Morning, sir. Come on in.
Your new digs.
New digs, you like?
Right up
Yeah,
front.
right,
gosh.
Front and center you get.
center.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How's it
Hank.
going? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, allow me to take a few minutes of your precious time to let you know what's going on and what I'd like to share with you. Get some feedback and direction, please.
And thank you for sending us the report. I read
Thank you.
your
Yes,
report,
thank
so-
you. Yes, thank you. About 2 months ago, we had a meeting with the Muni Court judges relative to hiring and retaining staff, primarily our probation officers. The current rate is $21 an hour, which requires them to have a college degree and deal with some of the most violent offenders. No one's going to prison anymore. Most people are being placed on community control. If you can recall, pre-COVID, they had 51,000 inmates. Now they're down to 30-something.
Wow.
And they're still trying to reduce it. So the state has given us money to address those offenders in the community. But back to the Muni Court judges. So they said, what can we do? What do you think we can do to retain these people? Because we had a difficult time when we advertised getting any qualified applicants. So we raised the starting wage from $21 to $23.36, which has not gone into effect yet, because we're still waiting on the approval from that MOU of $67,000 from the Muni Court judges. Keep in mind, it's only a one-time thing, unfortunately, which could keep going. So what I'm requesting, respectfully requesting, is that we be able to use those funds, the $67,000, to bring the starting wage up from 21 to 23.36, whatever that may be, and try and get some funding from the BOC. I know you guys don't have a pot of gold, but try and get some funding from the BOC to sustain those wages. If that's permitted, we're willing, and I talked to Judge Pittman yesterday, we're willing to get into the wage study, because I don't want to have to come back, and I know you guys don't want to see me coming back groveling for more money, and that's not fair to you
We'd just like
guys.
to see it.
Just, yeah, I can come up and see
A
you.
smiling face.
Yeah, thank you.
I like it.
We don't want to come groveling to you guys for additional money. I have an employee who is thinking about retiring before the balance of the year. Me personally, as a director, I'm not going to replace that position until we can say we need it. I think we just need to balance out.
Through attrition,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. And that saves some money, because I think that person was probably making 50-something plus the benefits.
Yeah.
So that should take a good portion of that money. the next item I want to bring up too, you guys know we've gotten federal grants in the past. Teresa got a close to $1 million grant. We don't know if we're going to get renewed. That's another frightening thing. Of course, you know what the crazy people in Congress, they can't get that debt ceiling raised, and they're going to be making cuts. So I'm assuming part of those cuts are going to be this pork that's been coming back to different communities.
So what's that $1 million being used for? Is it salaries?
Yes.
I'm assuming.
What they've done with the drug court is there's 4 employees paid out of that, but they use a lot of those funds to give back to the offenders. You know, whether it's housing, whether it's bus tokens, whether it's gift cards, gas cards, they use a lot of that money for that. That's how it was written.
Yeah.
We need, I say we need to pull ourselves up eventually by our bootstrap. But that's what a lot of that money is. But it's paying for salaries. And at the end of 2021 or 22, I think it was end of 21, I think we had a surplus of either, I want to say $300,000. I may be wrong. We have to have budget and finance look at that. That we had to give it back. With me, I'm a very frugal person. If I don't need the money, I'm not going to just at the end of the year try to spend the money. So we gave it back to you guys, and rightfully so. We're supposed to. So we're probably, that grant ends in September. So we're probably going to find a way to fund those 4 positions. If not, then we probably have to have layoffs. I talked to the judges about that too. But hopefully we'll be able to get back to where we were in 2021. But we're hopeful, hands clasped together, that we will be refunded with that federal grant. Teresa applied. I applied for a state grant. That's the one we've had since, I don't know, back in the 80s. And I think for the most part it's been baseline, but I think we're going to get a little bump. I asked for $700,000 instead of the $600,000, so we may have to put somebody else in the grant, and that's okay. If I get the money, I will certainly keep you guys apprised, but you have to approve it anyhow. But I think we're going to get about $700,000. That's what I asked for from the state. Previous 2 years was $644,000.
With the college degrees, associate, bachelor's?
It has to be a bachelor's, yeah. And we're governed by parole, and they require you to have a bachelor's. And we have an arrest team of about 5 people we want to expand who carry firearms. And that's another responsibility as well. But our starting wage right now is 21, and the highest is 28. And those are people with 15, 16 years. At one time, they were making $17, $50, $18 an hour. You guys approved me to find money in my budget, which I did, and we were able to bump them up. The senior officers we've been blessed to keep. For the most part, I think they're going to be with us because they have time, and you really can't go anywhere else and make what they're making. And they're the backbone of our department. But we just want to be able to keep the new people.
A question.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the $67,000 that's coming from the Muni Court, it's like a one-time.
Yep.
Why are they doing a one-time? Just to help with the hiring process to get better candidates? And then my question is, if we did approve for that funding to be moved to bump the starting salary from 21 to 23, how long will that last? I don't know, like how many people are impacted by that.
Yeah.
How long would that $67,000?
For 21 pays. 21 pays. And we were going to go back to the first pay in April, if we could.
Twice a month you get paid?
Yes. Yeah,
We get
21 pays.
26
10
pays a
months.
year.
Yep, 26 pays.
So it would cover the majority, but
It should
you're
cover the
only gonna go
balance.
back to April, and you're
Right.
not fiscal, meaning you're not from like July to June, you're actually calendar year.
Yep, we're calendar.
Correct? Okay. So if we go back to April, that would then, I'm assuming, make up for the 5 pays that we would be short hypothetically if it only covers 21, since we're only going back to April
Right.
versus January.
Right, because you'd already paid
would
for
still-
the first what would that be, 4 or 5? You'd already paid for that out of the budget that you provided.
And then as far as the $1 million grant that's used for the drug court for the 4 salaries and then for the perk, like the helping with the housing, the busing, tokens, and stuff like that. You know, that's the disadvantage. Grants are great, but all good things come to an end.
Amen.
And it's the same thing with like the ARPA funding. It gives you a
Amen.
false
Yep.
sense of security that people look and see that we have all this money, and you know, with government it takes forever to move things, and people are like, you've got all this money. It's like, no, it's been
Temporary.
appropriated. We know what we're going to use it for, and it's not going to take long to deplete it. And it's the same thing, personally, with the grants. But again,
I'm not a big
you're
fan
not
of
going to not apply for
Right,
grants
yep,
because obviously they do great things.
Yeah, and they
So-
always tell you that, and you know how the federal grant, a lot of times with the state, if you do well, they're gonna refund you. With the federal grant, they just wanna give you a bump, a start, and hopefully the local level is sustained, and we know that's difficult to do. Again, we don't have a pot of gold,
They give
we're
you
public
seed,
sector.
what they call seed money.
Yes.
And you're eventually supposed to
Yeah.
be able to work that in your budget to be self-sustaining, which is not always.
And you're
the case.
talking, those salaries are probably gonna be close to $300,000, those four, if we don't get renewed. That's the crazy thing about it.
Do you think we wouldn't get renewed, period, or maybe renewed for a lesser amount, maybe?
Well-
Because that's what we're seeing, you know, with the
Yeah.
VOCA, the VAWA, and all those, you know, we've long been dealing with that with the prosecutor's office, because they fund a lot of positions. And each year, they just keep getting reduced.
I'm hopeful that we'll get something. I think Teresa applied for, I don't know, close to $1 million again. Again, we know how they are in government, and they're trying to find ways to cut. That may be one of the ways they cut it. You know, some of those
Yeah.
social
this
service funds.
Yeah, Jackie, did you have any questions? Because we'll have to defer to you
Yeah, I
look
guess
into.
just the
And
general question of the future, you know, after those 21 pays, you know, we know where the money's coming from for that right now, but just in the future, I'm not certain where that'll come from.
Yeah.
So,
we'll have to take a look at and see.
And that's what I respectfully ask, that you take a look at it. And again,
Yeah.
that one employee, we may have to do more with less. That means we may have to, the officers may have to inherit a few more cases.
Which
You know,
they've got a lot of
yeah,
cases
we do.
now,
They're probably,
you
they're
know.
averaging about 125. But I got some stuff, you know, if we don't get refunded with drug court, then they're gonna probably have to take on more cases too.
How many probation officers do you have?
I knew you were asked that to him. We have I'm gonna say 30. We have 34 employees, and we're fully staffed for the first time probably in
that's
2
fully staffed
years.
for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
34. And we have I think 30 POs.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, you have the ISP, which are the ones who are responsible for monitoring the people released from prison. We have drug court, who are responsible for drug court. We have we have counseling officers. I mean, yeah, we have a plethora of positions and
Any
duties.
questions, sir?
Nope, Hank did a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
then
Thank
we'll have Jackie take a look in
Yeah.
to see what we can do to
And I'll
try to
wait
assist
patiently.
with.
Yeah.
and-
What do you think about the 67, that one-time shot? What's your thoughts on that? Can we?
Mine is to accept that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would accept it, I mean, to be utilized for this.
Yes.
But then, I would wait to do any bumps until we hear from Jackie.
Okay,
To see
gotcha.
what we can do.
Okay.
To continue it further on, but then again, if you're not replacing a salary,
That's gonna
and
give you
it's
money.
right around, that there would cover, that position alone would cover it going forward, I would assume.
yeah, maybe we can work together to figure out
Yeah,
where
that's
the
what
saving-
I'm
where the
thinking.
savings will land.
Okay.
and I
And
think-
please, yeah, let.
Because that's just, you know, you said the salary, it doesn't include the benefits, which that's all gonna add up and we'll probably be able to continue.
Yeah, and additionally, that employee may retire the end of this month. So we're what, month 5? So you'll have 7 months of saving that money right there too.
And we'll just have to make sure we're aware of that going forward next year.
And 2 more questions,
Yes, sir.
if you will. So you're saying go ahead and do those increases, okay? But you got to do that resolution,
Right.
I'm sure.
Right, we
Jack
next,
to
we
prepare.
did
Okay.
next week, probably.
The second question and the final question is participating in the wage study. Is it too late? I know you guys started the process so that we can all be on the same page. and I don't have to come back.
We like the page.
You know
Yep.
what, is,
Yeah.
should we ask Tammy, or do you know Michelle, or can we get back to you to
Yeah,
learn
and that's
more,
fine.
or-
Let me look
Yeah.
into a few things,
Okay.
but I'm gonna go with I believe so,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because in checking a few things, your current wages
Mm-hmm.
are well below
Okay.
where they would
Yeah.
factor in at,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But let me
Yeah.
get
Oh,
confirmation
yeah,
for you
you're
on
fine.
that.
We, hey,
Yeah.
we got
And
nothing
I'll
but
work
time.
with Jackie and we'll work with you to
Yes.
make sure that we get your employees taken care of.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate your time, guys. I
Thanks.
hope I didn't take too much of
You
it.
did, you're great.
All right.
Did you hear a bell?
Yeah, that's right. Listen to the bell, right?
You're
You
okay.
actually got about 6 minutes, if you like.
Thank
Oh,
you.
listen,
Yeah.
Thank you, Hank.
Thanks,
Good
Hank.
to see you, sir.
You as well. Thanks kindly. Thank you.
County Treasurer,
Oh, no, you're done. Yeah.
Don't forget.
Mr. Brad, good morning.
thanks.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you
How
this
y'all doing?
morning?
Good, you?
Good.
I'm good, thank
Good,
you.
good.
Got a couple of things to pass out for you, so I'll just
Alright.
bring those around. You probably already have these in your packet, but just in case you do not, I'm gonna pass this around, So the first thing that's coming around is about GrowLink, and the second one is our financial wellness programming stuff. I'll just stand if that's okay, so I can see everybody. So GrowLink, we're required to give you an update on annually, and it has been about a year since we first approved that program in its new iteration that has the three pieces, right? The home improvement piece, the small business development piece, and the family farms piece. So what you've got there is our brochure and then our tracking sheet that we use internally for the loans that we've funded under the program. We have done 13 loans to this point. 6 of which are homeowner loans, 7 are small business loans. I have yet to do a family farm, which is a personal point of frustration I'm going to keep working on, but we are pretty happy with how that's going at this point. So you can see on that second page, and I apologize it didn't print on one for the sheet there, but we have spent about 1.2, I think, million of that. So we're allocated 1.2 million of that. We've got
1.2 is what it is?
around there. Yeah, we've got 960 some left that is available for borrowing at this point. So we're well over halfway through the initial allocation, which again I'm pretty happy about. I heard from Portage Community Bank this morning that they have another $400,000 to $500,000 in small business loan applications that are pending. So that's really taken off and is doing very, very well as compared to the home improvement program that over 6 years almost made it to its $1 million that we allocated in that program. So the uptake on this has been much more significant, and I think we're happy with how that's going. We've got a pretty good spread on the sorts of businesses that we're working with. We've got trucking companies, gyms, a bunch of others.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
So, I'm
Quite a
again pretty
variety.
pleased, and they're not all in one place, which is another thing. There are some that are in the Garrettsville area, some Ravenna Kent. So we're happy with how that's gone to this point. And then just
So I
wanted
have
to
a question,
Yeah.
Brad, not to interrupt.
That's
you.
right.
So how do you think they're hearing about these programs? Just through the banks, or how are we getting the messaging
And
out?
does that message get up north?
up north to like
Aurora?
Aurora, Streetsboro. Well, I believe so, right? And so I am happy with the support we've gotten. First of all, with the work that you've done to put the word out through the ACAR, through the Realtors Association. I know that we've talked to them a lot. I have gone and spoken to chamber groups and kind of your civic organizations about this program over time to kind of spread the word. But I know that the banks have been sharing it too. And really, I think the Portage Development Board deserves a lot of credit
Yeah.
for sharing the information, because I know Brad Eberhardt and his crew have put it in their newsletters regularly, and that's getting out, through his group and then through the chambers and others. So, again, pretty pleased with how that's going at this point. We'll have a better look at it here again in a couple of months when we do our investment advisory committee next, and kind of see where we are. And if these next couple of small business loans come through, we may be looking at, do we need to allocate more into it? We had initially said something like up to 2% of the investment portfolio could be used for this program. The investment portfolio is a lot bigger than it was when we started. So thinking ahead, that may be a thing we look at or discuss. But pleased with how that's gone. So if you have any questions about
Well,
GrowLink or
I just want to thank you for the program. It's, I reviewed it a while back when you gave me some of the literature, and I've been kind of continually watching it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we're happy with it,
Awesome.
and I'm again very pleased that you all as a board supported it too, because we are again I think the only county in the state that does this version of link
Wow.
deposit, where we're really closely matched with what the state is doing. So I think it's great, you know, as a force multiplier here locally, so.
Somebody has to steer the ship, and I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you. Okay, well, if you don't have any
Very
other
good.
questions about GrowLink, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is our financial wellness programming, and just to give you an update on how our thinking is evolving on that. So, we have done a financial wellness fair, I think, for 6 years. This will be our 7th. And that program has always received tremendous support from our community partners, nonprofits, businesses, et cetera, who do this work. The issue from the beginning has always been attendance. You know, we've done okay year over year. The goal has been to get 100 people at the event. We have never actually achieved 100 people physically at the event. The electronic versions have augmented it in some ways, having those videos available for people to watch on their own was a boon and kind of an unintended benefit of the COVID pandemic, right? That people were able to watch those. But we have been looking as an organization or as a group, and I do have a steering committee, Portage Community Bank, Hometown Bank, who else? PMHA, the Family Community Services, Consumer Credit Counseling Service, a bunch of others who've kind of been my sounding board for this event over the years. So we've been talking about how we can improve that. One of the ideas that's come up is to look at other programming in this space, the financial wellness, financial education space, and to see if there are ideas we can borrow. So in those conversations, I had a chance to connect with the University of Akron's Barker Center for Economic Education. They've been doing this work since the 1970s. They're kind of the local hub for the National Economic Education Council. So they do a lot of kind of best practice research, and they have developed a program that they call Family Financial Fund events that they do at schools in the greater Akron area. They're based in schools because that's a captive audience of folks that this information is related to. Schools also have a mandate from the state of Ohio to do more programming around economic education to meet certain standards for graduation now. So, you know, we talked to them kind of about their model and what they do. They have buy-in from some of the larger regional banks like Huntington. The Federal Reserve is part of their program in Cleveland. So, you know, they have been generous with their time and sharing with us kind of their best practices and what they have done. And our group would like to replicate something like that in Portage County. So rather than doing a one-off half-day event where we have people come in and do 15 or 16 classes and an expo area, what we're proposing doing potentially is moving to where we have 3 school-based events and 1 for seniors, because I think it's important for us to retain that touch point. There is a lot of demand, especially now with the uncertainty that's in the economy, about how to manage Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, retirement planning. All of that is still a need. So I think it's important for us to retain that. So it'd be 4 total events, 3 that are school-based and 1 for seniors.
Why you keep looking at me when you say
I'm just looking around.
Hey, I'm just asking.
Well, you know, hey, I've got some of that gray coming in too, so it's not long for me. But you know, it's one of those things. So
I'm gonna stay out of that.
I'm glad he's not looking at me.
So we would do Northern Portage, so probably Streetsboro, Aurora based, Central Portage, Ravenna, Kent based, and then Southern Portage for schools. The idea is it would be a 2-hour-ish program, and we would have dual tracks for students and for parents. So students would go with guides through 5 stations that are based on the financial wellness education standards from the state of Ohio, Department of Education. They would get 20 minutes or so at each station with a leader that would kind of walk them through an activity. They'd get a little prize and they'd go to the next station. Meanwhile, their parents would be in adult level versions of those same topic areas. So
Where
the
would you
idea
do
is
that?
to hit both. What's
Where
that?
would you do that?
It would be based at the school, and the idea is it would be after school, so probably in the 4 to 6 or 5 to 7 range, you know, in terms of timing. And
Yeah, I've often read where they
Yeah.
do that, and they do like games, but it's educational games to
Yeah.
get the kids to learn how to save and why you save
Yep.
and how taxes. You know, you get an ice cream cone and they take half of it and say, "This is because you're paying taxes," and here's
Right.
the rest.
Yeah. So what you've got there is on the 2-pager where it says logo and development at the top. It kind of describes
I got
the
it.
idea that we have. And I think I listed on there what those 5 standards are that we'd be touching on. So we would get community partners to staff those for us. That's where the community engagement part would come in. And they would be somewhat smaller events because we'd only need 5 at any given point, probably 10, because we'd have adult and then and then student. But then, you know, our general attendance by county businesses and nonprofits has been in that 20 to 30 range anyway, so I'm relatively comfortable we could get that number of people to do, you know, various versions of this. So that's the idea. It's a shift away from what we've been doing and toward this new model that is based in best practices from people who talk about this stuff nationally. We're excited about that. We're excited that it's tied into the schools and the economic education standards that people are already feeding into. You know, so there's a lot of good synergy there. Kind of where we're going with this then next is my plan is to take this proposal to the school superintendents tomorrow morning, because we'd like to get it rolled out if we can in the fall, to coincide with the beginning of school, so August, September. You know, that's a big lift to get done in a couple of months. I think we can do it, again, because the concept is kind of already built and we already have a cadre of people who do this stuff with us. So I'm confident we could get it done if we get the buy-in from those partners, and they're really the key to the whole thing working. If we can't get it done for this fall, the plan is to shift to this for 24. So I'm kind of proceeding on parallel tracks. We can just do the regular financial wellness fair again this year. You know, we have thoughts about how we can advertise better and do more outreach. You know, so that is a path we can pivot to if we need to. But I'd like to try to pursue this other
Brad,
model if we can.
You're not alone in that the attendance tends to be poor for those things, because I know we used to do like first-time home buyer seminars and stuff, and they were never really well attended, and I think it has to be because it's more of a personal, private thing. If I want to talk to someone about my finances, I'm not gonna be in a whole classroom and raise my hand. I often thought that really is truly the reason. It's not that we don't advertise enough. I think it's people view that as a sensitive, private thing that they want the more. But again, it's an educational thing that if you're interested in something, you could go to it, get information, and then call that, you know, contact to set up an appointment, privacy.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know all the years I did it with the real estate, it was never really well attended because I think, again, they want to sit down one-on-one and talk privately to folks like that. But.
For sure. Well, and I think, too, part of the broader goal of this effort is to break down some of those stigmas, right? Because that is a cultural thing where we just don't talk about money. And I actually find myself, my public salary, right, like it is published, people know it, like getting weird when my kids ask me about how much money I make sometimes. And I'm like, why am I being weird about this? Like, it's public record, and I really believe in this. So it's just so ingrained in the culture, but I think having these conversations helps break some of that down, and that's a good thing, right? If parents are talking to their kids about finances early, you know, that helps us build stronger practices and habits longer term into life. So
I like when what you're doing, or this type of program, because it's so generic. You're not talking about my finances, you're talking about generic.
It's over.
And introducing the kids to that, to start a conversation with mom and dad if you can. I mean, I'd like to see it more attended there, but I'm looking at this as very generic, put some ideas out there that mom or dad haven't thought of, the kids definitely haven't thought of, versus me, and then I may want to go find a financial planner.
yeah,
After.
and these community partners are still
And
there to
that's-
do those one-on-one conversations. That's
Yeah.
what the expo part of the traditional event was for. And I think that there has been some spin-off anecdotally that I've heard of people having conversations with those folks.
It's
that
a
turned
generic
out,
one,
but-
and non-threatening.
Yeah, the class is
Yeah.
generic, and then the
I don't think
one-on-one
it'll be
happens after.
interesting
So.
to see how this new pilot program for us, I know it's been long done, because like I said, they've had all kinds of articles in the Beacon over the years. I remember reading about it, to see how it takes off.
Yeah,
So, what's it
well,
like?
and I have heard from the Huntingtons and Edward Jones and some of these other
Yeah.
entities that have been more hesitant over time to participate in our thing, and I think there's a renewed interest in that, and this model in particular, I think that they're interested
Yeah.
in. So we'll see how that goes. But the reason you've got a resolution there then that is a little bit more. I'm kind of hedging, I guess, is what I'm saying in this language. So it is financial wellness programming. I still think it's important for us to try to raise some funds to support this. So it's similar to the ones we've done in prior years where we've asked for, you know, up to $4,000 in cash and then in-kind donations to support the event. I've changed it from event to financial wellness programming. So if it is the fair again, it would be that. If we're able to do this roadshow thing, it would be the roadshow. And we'll certainly keep you posted on how that develops, but it's time for us to get moving on some of that because we're in May already, so.
So you're saying you need at least 4,000 raised, and you
Yeah.
get that through the in-kind and the donations?
Yeah, so our bank partners, some of the folks on that steering committee tend to donate, other community businesses, and part of that is door prizes, so incentivizing people to show up, and some of it's for advertising and food and,
I
you
was
know,
gonna
that kind of
say,
stuff, rentals.
Yeah, you always have food too.
Yeah, so,
One other thought that I have, if you're doing financial wellness planning versus financial education, we're trying to teach people things to set them thinking in a different way. If you tell me you're gonna plan my finances, I don't wanna talk to you about my finances.
yeah, sure.
But some kind of educational thought process, this is what we're having this for. So you can educate your kids, answer questions without getting into financial planning. That would be mine. Because when I do read financial wellness planning, you know, it's kind of like car salesmen coming up to you and saying,
Oh, for
my
sure.
goodness.
Yeah.
But we want to, the educational part, I think people might miss.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yep.
My financial planning would be a short story. I'm still impressed with the Portage Grow link. And so those that are watching, contact your office.
Yeah, so the first step is to go to the banking partner, so either Hometown or Portage Community Bank, and talk to them about a loan, and then we're the next stop.
Okay.
They can always call us if they've got questions about it.
Okay,
though.
that's
I'm
fine.
happy to talk to anyone
Because
about it.
we do have a
Yeah.
following, and I'd like them to know.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's all I had. So
Thank you,
very
Brett.
much.
Appreciate you coming in
Thank
today.
you.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorizes the acceptance of donations in support of the Portage County Financial Wellness Programming to the Portage County Treasurer.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous, please.
Okay. I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the May 12th, 2023 certificate of the county auditor, and the total appropriations from each fund does exceed the amended official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the kennel disposition report and intake report for May 1st, 2023 through May 7th, 2023, as presented by the Chief Dog Warden, Dave McIntyre.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina? Yes.
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion in accordance with ORC Section 325.07. The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's Transportation of Prisoners Report for April 2023, as presented by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Investment Reconciliation for the month of April 2023, as presented by the Portage County Treasurer and County Auditor.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County RLF balance sheet dated April 30th, 2023, as presented by Neighborhood Development Service.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners sign the application and certificate for payment for the final payment of $8,975.77 for the 2021 Sewer Maintenance Program Project SH2 21-140 payment to Lake County Sewer Company, Inc., as presented by Water Resources Department.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners declares it necessary to levy a replacement tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the necessary requirements of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Portage County.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Okay.
County Administrator, do you have anything else? You do have one.
Yeah, she does.
Discussion?
Sure. So basically, it's just letting the board know and hopefully have a consensus that I would like to move the grants coordinator position over to report to budget and finance. I think it makes more sense.
Mhm.
They
I
work
do
very
too.
closely together as it is,
Mhm.
and I think that that would be a great partnership.
I agree.
I agree too. So do you need us to do anything, or you just?
So I
want
think there's a
to-
journal entry there, no?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the grants coordinators, yeah. There's your job description, and posting.
You
So
don't
the
have
job
resolution.
description is the same, we're just changing the title and moving to who they report to. Everything else
Okay.
we kept.
You don't have to have a resolution to move.
No, because the county administrator already approved this for the kind, I just wanna make sure you're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure. Okay.
Very good.
Okay, in accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and the board's resolution 21-0396, Part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval too. I'll make a motion to authorize the revised grant administrator job description to grants coordinator job description for Budget and Finance Department of Portage County.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the external posting of non-bargaining position for a grants coordinator, Portage County Budget and Finance Department.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes. Anything else? We'll go into recess till 11 o'clock to public comment. Do we have any public comment yet?
No, we actually have a public hearing at 10:30,
Okay.
so we'll recess till 10:30. We have the public hearing for the comprehensive plan.
Gotcha.
We have the cliff notes that were sitting on the desk.
Are you recessed?
Yeah, we recess
Two
until
questions.
10:30.
One of which may have been my hearing or
Can you go to our website?
Technical stuff.
I'm sitting.
Come on,
use
Amy,
your
you
website.
can do it.
I'm not technical.
Good. Yeah, if you can go, let her get on the website for her.
You want me to
Yeah,
show
get
it on
over
the
there,
website?
Todd,
Yeah,
get
Todd.
on it
Show
for
it.
her. See if, you can get it.
Absolutely.
Well,
I like how this got smooshed.
Alexa says that he could do this one, so.
You,
Here's the website.
okay, just, I don't know if that messes up your TV or not. That's the thing.
I don't know. How about if I call him?
We're starting in,
Let me call
about,
him 'cause we got like.
we're gonna start in about 30 seconds here.
I got time for more coffee.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't realize she got you your own.
She did.
I made sure I didn't bring any cans of anything up here, so I didn't leave anything
I appreciate you, man.
behind.
Tired of cleaning up after you, Todd.
I know, it's really embarrassing.
You know you can't have any of my coffee.
Yeah, you knew I was gonna ask.
And see, I can hide behind my plaques and my decorations.
I know, I like it. I mean, why would you do that?
Hi, do you need more coffee?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Oh, he has a whole pot of it.
Yeah, I got a whole thing. You took care of me, girl.
Maybe a straw.
We're just gonna get an IV and stick it in.
No, I'm thinking a funnel.
Unless they want to stay in recess just for a few.
Yeah, we'll stay in recess for a minute or two. So you ready?
Due to technical difficulties.
Due to Amy breaking the stuff. What?
It's not me. I just push play
It was Michelle that broke it.
like a monkey.
I just pushed that button.
Huh?
Just say yes.
Okay. Whatever you say, that's fine.
Yeah, Sam, we got technical
So
difficulties.
what did you say you wanted?
It may be
I wanna get to our
operator error,
website.
but we're not sure.
Instead of this image, we'll do the website.
Okay, we can go to the website. Just gonna have to change a couple of things. You gotta give me a minute though.
You got 30 seconds. A minute late already.
Sure, it's fine. You put it, you might have to put it on the book.
Oh,
It doesn't like that
there you
slippery.
go.
I'm surprised we don't have any angry public here.
What?
Nothing.
You don't have anything?
We don't have any public here, for or against.
Okay, I'm gonna
No,
put
you,
They're an hour behind us.
Central time? Well, for them, it's 9:30.
it's 9:30.
Yeah, that's what I said.
They're behind us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Apples, potatoes.
What?
What's the URL for the website?
Well, we just type in, it's Portage
Yeah.
County Regional Planning
Yeah, you can
Commission.
get it under Portage.
You can get it off the county's website if you want.
Yeah, Portage.
Yeah, what's the port?
co.portage.ohus.
I just type in Portage County.
OHU.
I do too.
Let me just pull it up on it.
Oh, yeah, here. I was gonna say, yeah.
I went to Maplewood about 20 years ago and took a typing class because I didn't learn how to type.
Oh my God, I hated my typing teacher. Her name was Mrs. Sparks.
I have Mrs. James.
I hated her.
Dash semicolon dot.
You can go to boards and commissions.
I did 4 years of typing. Yeah.
Home row.
And then when I was with the county,
Mhm.
we had typewriters back then. Guys would pay me or buy me beers to do the reports.
Oh, you know what? It's funny you say that because my husband can type fast and he's accurate. Because all the years of typing
Oh, yeah.
reports,
Yeah.
he types very
A lot of
fast
those
and
guys,
accurate.
they learned themselves. I mean,
You had to. Not me. I'm good at.
I used to have a secretary who used to hunt pecker.
Okay.
I'm almost at
If you go to boards and commissions.
the gal this old gal that taught the class worked in Cleveland. She's executive secretary, 120 words a minute.
You know what?
That was
It's just like,
my aunt. You heard me tell that at the one thing.
Yeah.
My aunt worked for the Pentagon. She was secretary for the Pentagon when she was in the Army, and she typed 130 words a minute.
I do
Accurate.
110.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Accurate, yeah.
Yep.
You can type.
Oh, yeah.
When, he said 110, 110?
Wow.
110
Oh,
minutes?
I can do 10 a minute.
Can you guys check your emails? We needed to send a letter to Judge Deletto, cause
I
even
saw
though
that.
we sent
Yes.
that, she was under the impression we were still gonna move forward with the study,
study?
50
Study.
grand, but.
No. Not now, no, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
what
I
it says.
said,
after-
cause I had two judges call me Friday and say, you know what, you need to send a letter, and I said, well, we did, and they're like,
Well, you know what gets me?
So,
She looked at 3 buildings that we presented to her,
Wouldn't even,
you know, nah.
It's too late
I'm good.
now.
I'm good.
so if you could just let Michelle, cause she'll print it out so we can send it.
Okay.
yes, Michelle.
Yes, Michelle.
Michelle, did you hear that?
She's not paying attention.
Earth,
Yes,
Earth to Michelle,
Michelle.
come in, please.
Yes, Michelle.
I
For-
asked
for
them
letter, for
if they were
Judge Deletto.
okay with the letter for,
Okay. Yep,
and they
yep,
said
yep.
yes.
We'll get that taken care of. In fact, I will email that right now.
Yeah, if they can print it out, we'll sign it so we can get it out. Gosh, Mike looks like an Oompa Loompa orange person in there.
Hey,
I'm thinking.
Well, look at
I'm not
Tony.
criticizing one way or the other.
Tony, you look orange in
Looks like
there.
a blood pressure.
well, what the hell is with that in the middle?
It's perfect.
Red cheeks, rougey cheeks.
That is the rose between two Oompa Loompas.
Oh, wow. Oompa Loompas.
That's
From the-
wrong. That's just wrong.
You love it.
You gotta watch what you say. Comes around, goes around.
I know.
Huh?
Yeah.
Nah.
No,
I tell my mom, but she's
no, it's
dead.
just the
Yeah.
coloring. Because sometimes my nose looks really dark on it.
You gotta stop drinking so much.
I don't drink.
Ah, see?
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. How we doing, Sam?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, just a minute.
Where's it at?
Leave it to Todd. Todd, you know, you have to put these requests in ahead of time.
I thought I did, but that's okay. That's okay.
You did?
I just wanted to show you the interactive mapping portion of it.
No.
So,
Well,
so that's what it is.
Yeah, it's
There's
probably
a
not
map.
then.
I've seen it.
Well, I'm not trying
It's
to.
Amy's fault.
I've played with it.
Poor Amy.
You played with it good.
So, Michelle, you get to hang out with us this evening?
No.
Yes,
She don't have to.
I do
It
believe.
says she's coming.
Oh, she
She's
is?
present.
Aw. She
Well,
had a
I
late
think
night
that it's
last night.
important
Well,
for,
you can
You and
Um,
I did front?
the staff to understand what goes on at a an evening meeting. We don't have that many, right?
Well, that's
So
true.
that way Amy can show us how it's done.
There we go. It's good. So now you can navigate the page.
Or, I mean, I'm just going to support the board.
Hit the board.
Are you
Board
gonna
commission.
bring Mike's coffee?
Board and commission.
No.
Amy's coming.
The other way.
Okay, there it is.
No.
Do you want
That was
flavored
pretty
coffee?
quick, no.
I'm sorry.
No.
You don't drink
Should be
coffee in
on
the
there
evening, do you?
somewhere.
All night long, girl.
You're like my
There it is.
dad.
Now
My
scroll
dad can
down.
drink coffee right till he goes to bed and never
I'll drink
impacts his
hot
sleep.
coffee before I go there.
Doesn't bother
Oh,
me.
not me.
Go to-
My
Mm-mm.
dad's like
Go
that
up.
too.
I cannot.
The stronger the better.
In fact.
Sue yells at me all the time. You need decaf. No.
She would never yell.
Oh, she yells at me all the time.
I've known her for a long time, yes.
She
really
does.
That's my fault, I didn't know.
She can be like that.
Okay, so we're
We're
the
not
audio
angel
live, guys.
soup.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Sam.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Tonight.
Okay.
Okay, come out of recess. Todd, you're up, sir.
Good morning, commissioners. Todd Pitts with
You
Regional
gotta
Porch.
do the opening and welcoming.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Remember we gotta do
No,
it.
I gotta, what's I'm looking for? Thank you.
That's your agenda.
I was looking for the other.
Recess and go into the public.
We'll come out of recess and
And then
we will
we'll-
go into, public
Reconvene
hearing?
as commissioners and then we'll recess into the public meeting. There we go,
Okay.
now we're good.
all right, we good?
Yeah.
All right. This is the wrong one. This is for tonight's solar matters. Okay.
There you go, sorry.
I'm Commissioner Tony Badalamenti. We welcome you and thank you for joining us today. I will open the public hearing, Portage County Comprehensive Plan at 10:38
You
This
just
morning?
technically-
I'm Commissioner Tony Badalamenti, President of the Board of Commissioners. This is Commissioner Sabrina Christian Bennett, Vice President. Commissioner Mike Tinlin is third member of the board. Proposed of this hearing is Portage County Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing to hear comments and proposals of the Portage County Comprehensive Plan. The notice of this hearing was published in the Record Courier newspaper on April 20th, April 27th, May 4th, 2023. A copy of the proposal plan has been on display and was available for the public viewing at the Commissioner's Office, the Regional Planning Commissioner's Office, and a copy has also been posted in the county's website. The overview of the comprehensive plan, Regional Planning Director Todd Peets, and will swear in anybody who would like to speak today, so if you please raise your right hand, those can speak. Are you gonna be speaking?
Probably.
I thought so. For those who would like to speak in public hearing, please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of law of perjury of the state of Ohio that testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Respond, I do.
I do.
Okay. We will also need to have you state your name for the record each time you speak. You are speaking so that the person transcribing the official records knows who is speaking. Okay, sir, you're up.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. It's a great day to be here finally with you guys. I've been here for a little over 14 years, and from day one, I was hoping we'd have a comprehensive plan here. It's the first comprehensive plan for the whole county. It's I'm gonna say at the end, I'll say at the beginning, it's a living document. It can be updated or amended at any time you guys feel it's necessary. So I created a little cheat sheet for you. I'm not gonna read it to you, but I will tell you a couple things. So when it comes to like population, income, and we'll get, I guess I'll get population, income, housing, and growth, the values are all up on that. The one thing about income, even though it's up, it didn't go up the same rate as inflation. So we actually have a little less buying power. But when you compare us to other counties, the only county that may be doing quote unquote better would be Geauga. We're doing much better than most of our surrounding counties. Much better. We're second in our neighboring counties, I think, for all these different categories. So we talk about that. We talk about land resources. The maintaining the rural heritage is a huge thing for many of the townships, for example, and then also trying to balance growth with maintaining a rural heritage. It's a difficult balance, and we talk about that quite a bit in the plan. And basically, once you run water and sewer to any farmland area in front of that, it increases the value a lot, and developers will pursue farmers for that. So we need some sort of maybe a control of how we extend water and sewer lines into the communities. I think water and sewer is really important, and I'd rather have everybody be on water and sewer. But there's a lot of challenges with that. And so anyway, we had all the community service things on there, the police, fire, healthcare, social services, education, and parks. We were able to do what I think is really cool in the plan is we have a service coverage area for all the fire departments, all of them, and you can see where the 4 minute, 6 minute, and 10 minute ranges are. Is it 4 and 6, 10? And so you can see where the gaps are, and the gaps really are around like West Branch and Camp James A. Garfield.
Let me ask a question about the agricultural that you said.
Yeah.
That we do bring, is there a plan, there's no plan, but there are restrictions and guidelines standing besides this that talks about how to put water?
There's a 208 plan, which Water Resources utilizes. It's approved by NEFCO. And so basically it says where water and sewer may be in the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. And I talked with Water Resources about this, and basically they're not extending water lines. They only extend water lines that are paid for by developers. So that also really slows it down because if a developer like a mile from where it is currently, then that whole mile is now opened up for development. So if you kind of have to piecemeal it together, which I think is also challenging to do it that way. But that's probably the best way to limit development if that's what you want to do. Now internally, we're always trying where there's water and sewer, we're looking for ways to promote those areas for economic development. It's not like we're not trying to not promote development in the rural areas, but it's just a matter of infrastructure.
It's easier to market.
Yeah, well, it's a ton easier to market. Yeah, I'm still worried, we're doing the Shaylersville Comprehensive Plan right now, and they do have water and sewer gonna be run down 44, and that whole east side of Straight Route 44 is gonna be prime for people, knocking on Shaylersville door and say, hey, we wanna develop something there. So, okay. Agriculture, we talked a little bit about that. Infrastructure, we have all the levels of service for both roads and water and sewer, as well as, we talk about, different kinds of transportation, again, for marketing, freight, and things like that. We talk about AMATs, we talk about ODOT policies and what they're working on. Economic development, we work really closely with many of our economic development agencies in the county, and especially the Portage Development Board, and talked about those things. We do mention funding sources too in the areas of infrastructure and economic development. And then we also talk about land use, it's really about character of the areas. You kind of have to have a good framework, what that character of the area is. So there's kind of like we have these designations for different types of development. And then we also work with the townships on their zoning, and we do work with the villages and cities too when they need help with that. But the whole idea is anything can work, just have to have good compatibility. If you can make it compatible, buffering and things like that, you can make it happen. We did talk about the goals and objectives and implementation schedule. We had a bit of a discussion on that. We did make the changes you recommended about that you're open to meeting with them at any time, and that you're mostly, we didn't say this, but you're mostly interested in being involved with economic development, health, and safety. So those are your 3 areas. It is a long plan. This is the first one. You guys, paid roughly $100,000 for this. I think I told this to Sabrina yesterday at the NEFCO meeting. We think we're going to come in right around the $90,000 mark, so we're going to be a little less than the $100,000 you guys allocated towards this project. The other part of that $100,000 is $50,000 you paid for. The other $40,000 is going against our debt on the building we have on Prospect Street. So I'll talk about that at the end too. And so basically, there's that schedule. So with that schedule, the only thing that's missing out of that schedule right now is setting your guys' priorities. You guys, I don't want to say your priorities. I don't think that's right for me to do that. So I'd like to have a meeting, informal meeting, basically, to kind of take all those ongoing projects and the projects we think are short-term, those are the 0 to 5 year projects, and sit down with you guys or the department heads that are affected by it, and have them prioritize and maybe have them recommend to you what their priorities are, and you guys can adjust them.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. I know you're hot in your budget cycle, so this will probably be for the fiscal year 25. Some of these things can be done between now and 25. But I think that's the way to, if you're gonna get into your budget or start working on that. And then the longer range stuff, the 5 to 10 and the 10 plus stuff, those are the things where you don't budget it all today. You just start making, maybe it's a study of some kind, or maybe it's an acquisition of some kind, and you just start putting a little bit of money towards it until you can afford to make that, acquisition or study or what have you. And then also, but as I mentioned, you can update the plan at any time you need to, and then we're going to talk about the interactive summary of the comp plan it's meant for the public. We'll also have the full comp plan online. The paper version is a paper version. The online one has links to different sources and things like that, which really helps the public. And the same is true with our interactive summary. Gail, did you want to say anything that I do have one more thing. Did you have anything else you wanted to say on this?
No, I think you already said it, that the version that's online, the PDF version, does have active links on it that people can go click on to find out more, because like for example, in the water section, we don't get into a lot of detail. It's not a scientific document, and so the best option, if people want to know more about that, is to actually go to the agency's website that controls it.
Yeah. And the other thing about our data too, and I mentioned this at NEFCO yesterday, is the fact that it's created, whether it's created in 20, 21, 22, it's always changing. The statistics are always changing. So that's another reason why you update your plan. The only thing that's different about this plan that you don't have is, we're doing the final run through on it, and we saw that we have that open house we had at Neomed. We had that on April 20th. It's on page 2. We said April 27th in the plan, which it should be April 20th. So that's the only change that I know that we need to make. And after we talk about that, I can walk you through the through,
You ready for it?
yeah, I get to do it or you have to do it? Okay, so real quick, I think, since Mike said he already looked at it or played with it, basically you just, okay, where am I?
Other way.
It's awesome. There were places that I didn't know where they were, and I clicked on them, and boom, there it is.
Yes.
It's pretty interesting.
So you have so if you don't want to see the whole thing, you can just go to the introduction, population trends, housing, natural resources, community. You can go to all these places, and then there's like implementations back here, and so you can just scroll through it. Here's the whole. We're calling it a final draft, but once it's approved, we'll change that to the comp plan itself. So there's you should be able to click on that, and it'll take you to the whole plan if it moves really quick. So that's the whole plan. So you can go right there, and as I mentioned, there's some links on there that you can just go right to. So then I can just go through all this. I can jump right to, I can jump to infrastructure if I wanted to. I did miss out some of the mapping, for example. So we have like a little thing about topography, what it is, and then we have stuff about watersheds. Like there's the Erie, Gulf of Mexico, Erie Ohio River divide there, surface water, information about that, water quality, information about that. I don't know if I can click on that, but that's, so I can just click on that for more information and go right to it, Anyway, groundwater, pollution. And if they want to print these maps, they could go to the comp plan and print them from there. These maps are in the plan. And then if I kind of showed you some of that stuff, I want to just go, not to take up too much of your time, but we'll go to the implementation schedule. So this talks about how to implement it. Up front, just a brief review. A comp plan has more information on implementation, but we have goals and objectives, right? So I can just go to the plan, and then I can just go through here. Just about everything has a obviously has to have a strategy, it has to have a lead coordinator, has secondary partners. This is a short term, and then down here is a long term, but there's measurements. So a lot of times you do these goals, objectives, and strategies and say, here's our goals, but you really don't know what that's supposed to look like at the end. So this is supposed to help understand what we're striving for. And the other thing that's important about this is that you'll see many times there's multiple partners in these categories. So like when I did, not to pick on Brad from the Economic Development Board, but when we did his, he was really concerned because he said he couldn't do everything. I mean, just like you can't do everything. That's why we have these partners.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is you share many hands make light work. So we actually have partners and people share this work. It's not all coming out of the commissioner's budget. It's coming out of everybody else who's involved in it. Is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes people get sticker shock when they see these things, like, I can't afford that, we can't afford that. The other thing is, it is a 2050 plan, so technically these are goals leading to 2050, not 2025 or 2026.
Yeah.
So you're not doing everything all at once. But anyway, so that's this stuff here. And does you guys have any questions you want me to talk about?
Nothing specific.
So, yes, I do.
Okay, good.
So how are we going to constantly monitor the plan? Because again, we don't want it sitting on a shelf. We said we would take a look at it at least like once a year to see where we're at and stuff. So how exactly is the best way for us to do that to make sure
I
it
think
does not?
that's the best way. Now, I don't know what and I'm not trying to get into your business and how you run things or do things here at all. But I do think that the best way to do that is to have an annual meeting to talk about, have like department heads here, for example, and
Yeah.
talk about their successes. One thing we don't celebrate enough is our successes, and we need to share those successes. But it also is a way to hold people more accountable. We did talk with the department heads about different goals that they wanted and needed, and had everybody review it several times to make sure that we stated what they thought they could do or were able to do. And so I think we've probably, I don't know when your budgeting starts, but let's say it starts in April or May.
June.
Or maybe it's June, is have a meeting prior to that, prior to your budgeting thing, and just talk about your priorities. And then they can give you what they can modify or suggest what their budgets are gonna need for that. That would help you guys planned for this. The other thing too, we mentioned a few times, is that we need better capital improvement management kind of thing, so that each department has, like, what's their timeline on finishing their own. They may have other internal ideas, but obviously we don't have a crystal ball and know everything they wanna do. Is for them to also say, hey, we wanna do these improvements, we wanna do these projects. And they could list out what those projects are, and you guys can prioritize what's important to you guys or what's important to them, and try to figure out when that could actually happen, you know. So it makes, it's a you know, long term, it's a better process overall. And again, it holds people accountable if you ask them every year, hey, how you doing? You know, so anyway. So we're okay with that, but that's not something I think, you know, we'll be involved in, because we have some of those processes in there that we're involved in, we're the primary partner. But I also think that the heads of each department should be the ones responsible for their tasks.
Okay.
I've had some concerns, and this did help me, with EMS response in the county.
Mm.
There's a lot of areas that takes a while.
10 minutes, yeah.
10 minutes plus,
Mhm.
to get a rescue squad to someone's home.
Mm.
And I've been kind of researching it a little bit, and this helps, but I think on our, that map 5.2,
Okay.
the EMS response time,
Okay.
I think we need to just know what areas we're having problems with.
Mhm.
You know, I can pretty much tell you, you know, Charlestown, Paris, Palmyra, those are some areas that are having problems having people there. And now I know we have mutual aid and they respond, and I know how that works. But I have had, and I'm gonna use the term, several calls from residents that they lost a loved one because one department was out on a call. They called for mutual aid. Nobody responded to the mutual aid, and they ended up calling another department that had to drive 20+ miles to get there. And I just, it's a concern to me. It's a concern enough that I'm still researching as to what we can do as commissioners, because these residents are up to us to provide safety and security. And I just don't want someone to lose a loved one because it took forever to get a rescue squad there. And some of these townships they just can't afford the full time. And you take it with a grain of salt with that, because you can get full time for every fire department here, but they could be out on calls when somebody gets injured. So it's kind of a catch-22, but I think that we're remiss if we don't look at what we can do as a county to assist this. And I know it's down the road, and I get that, but I do think that it's something that we can't just let go.
So,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, one of the things that this map is good for, and why I wanted to put it in the plan, is that you can pair it with 911 calls and fatalities to see where your gaps really are. And if you need a new station or need to step up staff, maybe, I don't know if that'll help down the road.
Yeah, and the only thing I'm saying is that under the 5.2 EMS response, I'd just like to know, you know, when you look at the 10-minute response, I think that's 10-minute plus.
And so that's just based on the road network. That
Sure.
doesn't take into account the time it takes for like a firefighter to put on
Right.
their gear and get
Right.
in the truck and actually.
And I'd
get
like
going.
to know, I know in the map what we're talking about, but I'm sure there's people that are gonna pick that up and say, oh, this down here, this is all orange, where's that? If we could plug that in some way, as to who we're talking about.
Like the service area?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. I know like in, for example, in Aurora and Ravenna, there are some overlapping
Mhm.
areas, so
Sure.
maybe, I'll see how it looks on this map, I might add a
Yeah.
second map, so you
Yeah.
can see them clearer.
Yeah, they all do a great job, every one of them, every department within the county. But I think if assistance is needed to update their response time, we may need to sit down and think about it. That's just
Yeah.
one idea that I had from the April meeting, going through it, just thinking, oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a good job on that, though.
Yeah, we didn't do like the sheriff's office and
Right.
stuff. It'd be interesting to do a study on that one, as well, just to see how they're, and I'm sure they got this covered, they know what they're doing, but it'd just be interesting to see if there's any gaps there too.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with it.
Well, thank you.
Yep, you guys did a great job, and I look forward
a lot of work.
to implementing, and it has a lot of really good information in
Yeah, it
here.
does.
Like,
Like what plant I wanna plant and,
What plants you should be planting.
yeah.
and where I can get water, where I can't, how many kids are what districts, I mean, it's got a lot of helpful information, so.
And we did it under budget, you should like that.
And we did it
We
under
appreciate
budget,
that.
which makes Commissioner Bennett's heart so happy.
Yes.
So, all right, unless there's any, where's our-
Anything else to be said? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, hearing nothing further, this will conclude the public hearing for Portage County Comprehensive Plan. Make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second,
Roll call?
Tony,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Hearing none, we will reconvene Board of Commissioners into regular session.
Okay, we got a resolution.
Resolution. The motion to approve Portage County 2050 Comprehensive Plan, Portage County, Ohio.
First ever plan, I'll second.
Roll call?
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
On behalf of Portage County Board of Commissioners, I'd like to thank you all for attending and thank you for your hard work, both of you.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
guys.
This is when the balloon drop is supposed to happen, but it's okay.
We're gonna wait till you leave.
Where's all the glitter coming out of the
I
seat?
know, a disco ball, and lights, and
Where's the
music.
glitter?
That's going in for my birthday.
We'll have it going on downstairs. so
Okay, all right,
everyone
thank
come
you
down,
guys.
so-
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
And thank
guys.
you for the highlights too.
Yeah, no problem. See you guys later.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, any public comment? Where did we go? Just see if we have
It's,
any?
I don't know.
Perfect timing.
No public comment.
No, hearing no public comment, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Roll call.
Mike,
yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Thank you. Good
Okay.
day. See you next week.
And you all have a good day,
Same
and
time, same place.
before we totally go out, those that are listening, Portage County Board of Commissioners public meeting tonight in Shalersville, at the town hall at 6:30. Public meeting for wind and solar utility. So if someone's interested that's watching us, like to come out, we'd like to see you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.